Hello everyone, my name is Jordy and it's time for another update on We Who Are About to Die. For 6 months now, my team and I have been working on the Spectacles update, and it's finally here, and it's a monster. If you thought the last one was big, hold on to your dakas and your chakas, because it's going to get crazy. At the end of this video, I'm also going to give you a little bit of an announcement, so stick around for that. Let's get into it. One of the first things you'll notice is the locomotion overhaul. When I was solo developing, this was always something I struggled with. Animations are not my forte, let's say. It was a twofold issue. The first one was animation assets, and the second was an animation programming issue. So for the first issue, I hired someone who actually helped out getting really high quality movement animations. And for the second issue, I just kind of grew my brain. The result is a wildly improved movement system that I'm pretty proud of. Let's just have a look at it before and after. Before, you had this really awkward combat shuffle, and it didn't look very good, but worse than that, it always played, even if your enemy was across the arena. This is the after. Now, if we're far away from enemies, we'll go into a normal, vastly improved walk cycle, and then as soon as you're near an enemy, you go into this combat stance, which is switching dynamically. Before, we also had these really cartoony, squashed, glitchy proportions, especially on the torso. And I finally managed to properly fix these. Now we have more realistic proportions on every character. This is dashing before. It was this weird hard-coded, jarring animation, and it would feel even worse than it looks. Now you can dash any which way, and it just uses the underlying locomotion animation. I also added this momentum lean, so if you're accelerating very fast, you'll always lean in the right direction dynamically. And it's not just visual, these are also gameplay changes. So first off, we cleaned up and made everything way more responsive in terms of movement, but there's one major gameplay change as well. So before, when you held shift to sprint, you would always sort of turn towards your direction of movement, and you wouldn't be able to do a lot of the attacks or actions during a sprint. This is completely changed now. Now if you hold shift, you'll be able to strafe, in combat strafe, at a faster pace, and you can do all the actions as before while strafing. Next, the Spectacles update introduces spectacles. We call them rare fights, and they show up during your run at specific weeks. A rare fight will contain one of the new game modes. There's a bunch of them, and they're very challenging. Elite fights will see you face off against an elite and his minions, so basically this is a boss fight. And we've already designed quite a few of them, and we intend to expand and improve the boss fights as we go. These are optional, by the way. They show up during your run at different difficulties, and I'm not going to spoil them. I'll let you discover the rest for yourself. Draft will take you to the battlefield. This is a mode where gladiators will get drafted into the military to help with Tarantia, and you can earn some coin in the meantime. Draft especially is like a work in progress. I really like it, but I want to see first if people really like it, and if they do, then we're certainly going to expand it, make the game mode better, add new maps, new factions, all kinds of stuff. And in terms of rare fights, we still have tournaments and grand tournaments. OG fans of the game will know that this used to be part of the game before launch. If you remember that, if you were there, put a comment down below because I want to see that. They're basically coming back. Tournaments are multi-round combats where essentially you fight against a ton of enemies. It's a test of endurance, and you also heal a little bit in between the multiple rounds of combat. The tournaments also end in a 1v1, which is a little bit more challenging than usual. I won't spoil the surprise on that one. On top of these rare fights, we also have a base game mode that's brand new called Survival. It's kind of like a 1v many, except the enemies come in at different waves, and they also have half health. So it's more of a hack and slash, and you have to make sure you kill them fast enough so that it doesn't snowball out of control. These modes, by the way, are in varying degrees of finish, and we have more plans with every single one. Whew! We're not even halfway. That was already a ton. By the way, please subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to follow along with development, that's the best way to do it. The AI on top of the animation changes has also seen vast improvements. We've added something called steering behaviors. This is essentially a system that you can give the AI several behaviors at the same time, and they will kind of figure out their movement pattern based on those prerequisites. So now they will look at where their allies are and where the enemies are, and they will get a steering behavior that pushes them away from allies while also pushing them towards enemies. So in short, this makes the AI way more fluid and move way more logically, and it fixes the erratic, weird movement and bumping that used to happen in the game. It also adds stuff like dynamic surrounds and flanking, and in general it's a really cool system to create emergent gameplay. This especially affects many v many or 1v many situations that now behave way better. A second massive change to the game is that before, the AI was 100% sticky. So if they targeted you, they will always rotate towards you 100% of the time at full speed. Right? You couldn't lose them ever. So now this turn rate is realistic, and not just that, but it also changes based on what they're doing. So if they're attacking, especially with a heavy weapon or something like that, their turn rate might even get frozen, and that gives you a window to just flank around and attack them in the back, or doing all kinds of really cool, crazy stuff. Things that weren't possible before. This turn rate is also tied to a new AI weight system, so the more heavy armor they have, the heavier weapons they have, the more this turn rate will slow down. The AI can now also shield aim, so they can aim up, left, right, and down based on what attack is incoming. This is previously something that was only available to the player. This is work in progress, by the way. I intend to improve it even more later on. But in short, it means that you can't overhead slash your way to victory anymore. Luckily though, we have new ways of getting around shields, so you should be okay. On the pure combat side, we have done many little tweaks that resulted in a much more efficient AI. So they will attack much more, and they will also connect much more than they used to before. They will also telegraph and slow down based on the skill level of the AI a little bit more as well, so you have more time to respond to incoming attacks at the same time. The AI is generally more competent, and the pace of combat is higher. And to balance this, the player, you, have more freedom of movement. You have a higher stamina in general and higher skills and a few other small buffs. Okay, let's blast through some of the rest. We have added a complete audio overhaul with hundreds and hundreds of new sound effects. Even your gear and the terrain that you step on now all have unique sounds. There are dozens of new toys, lots of weapons, especially filling the two-handed mace and axe roster, which was quite lacking. And we even have a bunch of custom gear for the elites. We have new UI icons and sounds, and also a brand new character overview panel. We've added ballistas, which can dynamically shoot any weapon around them. They're both terrifying and tons of fun. And then there's a gong, which when you hit it, it aggroes every enemy on the map. So good luck. There's optimization, which is a little vague, but it's just a general ongoing thing, especially maps this time around. We've added new map variations, including some thunder and lightning effects, and also gameplay implications, like deep puddles where if you walk into them, you slow down. There's a few new battle traits, one called Impatient Crowd and Rabble. There's also visual improvements across the game in general. And last but not least, we've added a massive new map. Welcome to the Grand Plaza of Tarantia, a huge open area where you can fight in full sight of the common Tarantian. We designed this map specifically so that we can split it into multiple maps in the future, so this is just the beginning. This leaves me with a genuine question. Which of these features appeals to you most? I really would love to know, and I'll definitely read it if you drop a comment below. Even if I say so myself, I think the future is bright for this game and the studio. On the dev front, we're killing it. We're making massive amounts of progress every single week. To me, when I play this new update, it feels like a fundamentally different and vastly improved game, and I hope you'll agree. Okay, I have one more massive announcement, but first, real quick, if you're on our side and you want to help, subscribe, but more than that, share this video. We still rely on word of mouth more than anything else, and this is the best way to help. We also have a newsletter, by the way. In the description, there's a link. If you sign up, you will be notified of long-term, really important news, releases, and things like this. For short-term news, if you're really into development and you want to see little updates or even just hang out with the devs, there's the Discord. The Spectacles update is out right now, so go play and enjoy and let us know what you think. Okay, a little bit of an insider announcement for the people that got this far. For the next update, not the Spectacles update, but the one after, we are already planning and working on a lot of the features for that update. So you might not have to wait so long. We're planning to release it this summer. As always, thank you for watching. We who are about to die salute you. Jordy out.